Hi, I'm Joe Slagle, and I've been doing business as Plateau Marketing since April 2003. There's my old logo up until 2018, 2019. Not only have I been an independent authorized GoldMine partner or reseller since that time, but was with a full service B2B marketing consulting firm, also a GoldMine reseller, 8 years before I took GoldMine independently to Plateau Marketing. So while I've worked with several CRMs, I've always said that I would only represent GoldMine. I've had depth and breadth since day one, and that's because I'm a back end data guy and a data guy in general. Since 2020, I've been transitioning away from anything GoldMine related because of that help desk expectations that come with it. But y'all keep pulling me back in. So this video is for you, GoldMine people. And it's going to be a first take video because that's how I roll. I always give my best on first take. And I'm super excited to get this out to you because you're a casual bunch. And because of that, I wore my Dunder Mifflin t shirt. Because here's the thing with Goldmine users, you have a way of meeting to death any discussion about the future of CRM, much like all the meetings and at Dunder Mifflin. And like Dunder Mifflin employees, Goldmine users tend to be a little quirky with their CRM. And usually it's for good reasons tied to business process or sometimes the application. But as I've said, I've been operating as a Goldmine reseller since 2003. But I started reselling Goldmine in 1995, actually, the end of 95, when Shell Oil Company purchased 1,000 seats of Goldmine for a commercial fleet card initiative. We helped them with top to bottom for basically 20 years at my original employer there. I sold ACT 2 years before that because we would deliver market research interview results in that. So I've been working with computers, data, and all that since actually I was 14 when I had my first job in a local computer store. So as I've indicated, this video's for anyone looking for Goldmine info, and here's why. Y'all keep pulling me back in, and it's my own fault. In February of this year, I sent out an email to about 1,800 contacts in my database, updating them on some changes in my business, changes with Goldmine, including price changes. And I woke up with responses. 6 months later, I'm still getting responses. So, from a marketer's perspective, that's great. It thrills me, right? But here's the problem: the Dunder Mifflin syndrome. You can't keep meeting it to death. And let me tell you why. Because these are how these phone calls and emails go, a couple of web meetings, even. This is what I get. What's going on with Goldmine, the product? What's going on with your status as a reseller? Should I stay with Goldmine, move to something else? And can you recommend something to me? What's the best price? Are there any promos? What's the next promo going to be, etc. Okay, the world's changed, and the end of the year is here now. Time to make a decision is now, and here's why. Instead of being like Dunder Mifflin, you got to start being like Initech, Office Space reference, and ask, is this good for the company? Is this good for the company? And here's why. I'm not sure everyone, going back to these questions, I'm not sure everyone really understands what's going on with the product. We even have a partner forum where a partner said, "Who's running Goldmine now?" And another partner said, "I can't wait to see the answer." Now, they're being flip, okay? But here's where it came from. Goldmine's owned by Avanti. Avanti's focus is IT security, service management, asset management, a bunch of things not CRM. In January of this year, Avanti announced Goldmine would move to new quotes prohibited status in May 2023. May 1st, 2023 is passed. It wasn't just Goldmine, it was a handful of products that no longer fit their core business model. uh, maybe they can't maintain it in the future with the underlying system APIs. So this was put out in an email to partners, like I said, in January. I don't know what customers have seen. I, you know, I think the expectation is partners would take the message out. I don't know if there was any kind of public announcement when I originally looked for a press release. I didn't see one, but I'm sure it's been covered in the trades. But here's the deal: that's a pre-sunset announcement. Sunsets when a software package is done. And from what I've seen with other packages, being in this business 30 years, pre-sunset is like 3 to 5 years. And when they say they're going to sunset a product, it's 1 to 2 years out. So that was a January announcement for May. I'm guessing you have about 1 to 4 years. I have no insider information. It's my opinion on being a gold mine reseller, following the product, following the industry and trends in general. So that means I expect Avanti to end support sometime between the end of 2024 and the end of 2027. I have no crystal ball. Like I said, no insider information. So what do you do? So I'll tell you in a minute, because the next question was, what's going on with your status as a reseller? And it's kind of a bigger question that because of the status of the product. So I've been Plateau Marketing, like I said, an authorized gold mine partner since 2003. I still am today. But I get that question because in 2020, I announced I was transitioning to some other services now listed on my website, which really go way back, and developed some skills and some new areas, or hone them really. And but I began transitioning gold mine customers back then to other partners because if a customer needed support, I couldn't be there for them like I used to be. And I knew that. So I was trying to serve my customers. So 2 weeks into that decision, I continued with it. But 2 weeks into that decision, COVID happened. So I just stuck around. I transitioned people that needed stuff because I was busy doing some other things. But here we are, and people still call me. And the situation with the products change. So I'm selling gold mine until the end of the year. At the absolute latest, I'd really like to wrap things up in September and October so I can finish upgrades and whatnot by Thanksgiving and wrap up my software sales aspect of my business. But I'll stick around for anybody who needs for customers of record that need support. Uh, because I don't provide help desk support. I work with people that want to maintain their own system. But I said it's really a question for any partner because that announcement, there was that announcement in January, and then in June, July, Avanti sent the partners some communication indicating our letter of standing, which I'm an authorized reseller, with 2023 sales tier targets, which are not unreasonable, but not necessarily uh, real reasonable unless you're going out and chase them in today's world. And they also introduced some sales and technical accreditation requirements for 2024. Here's the thing: I haven't even personally reviewed what applies to me yet. There's a finite number of partners. There's a few of us that still only represent gold mine. Some others represent 2, 3, maybe even 4 CRMs. Um, there were a couple that did some IT things. I know most of them that are out there. So I haven't reviewed that because I'm here to represent the product. And like I said, I'm only planning to sell it to the end of the year. I don't think it's strategically responsible for me to represent all of Avanti's products or for them to have me as a reseller unless they want me in a support capacity for that product for my customers of record. And if so, I think that's great. So they're planning on updating all of the partners at the end of the year on their status. And I am going to get I need some clarification on what applies to me. But I have no expectation of being a partner beyond being able to support my customers of record when they need me. And here's why: because if you rely on a partner for support, that partner needs to be in good standing with Avanti. And if a partner goes to Avanti for support, you need to be in good standing with Avanti. It goes all the way around. It's full circle. So I'm here to help people that want to make the most of what they have and plan their future at a reasonable cost as well. So as long as Avanti maintains the status, as I said, for these traditional partners to be out there supporting, sure, I'll stick around for that purpose. But in terms of wrapping up sales, upgrades, whatnot, now's the time because there was another question in there that everybody asks, and that's should I stay with Goldmine, move to something else, and when? And as I've said earlier, you have about 1 to 4 years. Software is very much like a car. So let me give you that analogy first and then answer it directly as I can. I have a base model 2018 Honda CRV. It's due for the shop. Watch for the air quotes. But otherwise, I'm current on preventive maintenance. It's a Honda certified car. So I feel I get better manufacturer support. So I will make my appointment at an authorized dealer, keep up on maintenance. And that's because my car has everything I want and will need for the next couple years. If it's an important enhancement I need, there are add-ons, extras, modifications, etc. And of course, the dog has to go out. But then I plan to migrate to something better because I'm going to have lots of dogs. But until then, I like it. It does the job until that car reaches end of life or until annually reviewing maintenance and keeping up the cost of what I have versus something new isn't worth it. So, as I let the dog out, like I said, one take, people. So, uh, you know what people say about Hondas, right? That they last forever. So I'm pretty sure my car is going to last till probably end of year 2025, which would make sense if like end of 2024, hypothetically, Avanti says one more year, right? And or end of 2027 if I take great care of it, because that's your gold mine, right? Sorry about the dog. Uh, but you know what else there is about that car? I'm making assumptions about the engine and all the moving parts, right? And in your CRM world, that's your server, your workstations, your other line of business apps if you're doing integration, or even maybe when you upgrade them and how they affect programs. And also your employees and how they work, your business processes and needs and how they change. So, the big first moving part in what have I said out there is your server. There's a lot of people still running Server 2020, Microsoft Server 2012, and support for that ends in a couple of weeks, October 10th, 2023. So why is still running an old server in today's world with security concerns? So my answer to the question about what do I do, here's your answer. My absolutely no charge recommendation. You have to decide for yourself. But I can give you advice, free advice, on my reasons for staying with Goldmine for the foreseeable future and getting current, and making a plan to migrate either way, but whether you want to upgrade and ride it out a couple of years or do it now. So CRM migrations, and the big reason for that is because CRM migrations are not quick and like cars or an investment. And I'm not pushing any other product here at all, not even anything I'm working on. So here's my no charge other than services ultimately right now. But here's my no charge advice for figuring that all out yourself, right? So Goldmine is and remains an absolutely good product in these scenarios. And I've been saying this for a few years now. If you are entrenched in it, and most Goldmine users are, they have years of data in that thing, taking it to another solution the way they expect based on years of use with Goldmine is not always possible or practical. It doesn't come out the way they want. It doesn't. The screen doesn't look the same. The account contact data model's not the same, etc. And so CRM migrations are not quick, and all the stuff Goldmine stores in its data back end makes and the expectations of how they use it today sometimes make it take longer than they expect. Goldmine's another good use for anyone who needs a premise-based solution. And sometimes it's because of compliance. Premise-based solutions are sometimes easier, but that's a double-edged sword because the flip side to compliance is you need to be current on your software usually, and in the compliance world. So, what are you trading off today and tomorrow? That's something you need to figure out. And TPS reports, right? Remember Office Space TPS reports? If you're doing integration with your CRM and producing your uh, TPS reports, doing dashboarding, reporting, running analytics out of there, you got to think about all that, right? And Goldmine's actually good for that if you have a need for that that you can't get addressed right away. And sometimes it's not so hard. It's a SQL backend that allows for nearly all the data to be accessible. They have an API that's well documented and available at no cost. And, at some point that won't be supported either, but it's out there. And it has add-ins out there because of that. Third-party solutions that still work and those people still update. So there's a lot of opportunity there. Plus, within Goldmine, if you're a user, you know about this GM plus View tab, and that allows for a lot of direct integration to intranet and internet sites, passing of parameters and whatnot most of the time, not always. And all that's going to be good for a while and can be used now. Another thing that's really overlooked is the email and constant contact integration. Oddly enough, I still find the built-in Goldmine email client and add-ins, the Outlook add-ins, to be easier and more flexible than other programs I've used. And the constant contact integration, which they've actually been working on, if you're trying to do direct marketing, the Goldmine HTML client alone gives you something. If you want to use something like Constant Contact, you can see your results tied right to your Goldmine records. There's some good use there. And if that's something you don't know how to develop, listen, I'll point out a service. I know all the technical sides of email deliverability. I just told you about an email I'm still getting responses to. I can hook you up. If you need content creation, uh, 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 digital marketing advice, I have a partner that can do that. I can just direct you to her services. There are a lot of opportunities that are underutilized there. Another good reason for Goldmine is if you're really trying to self manage, which also makes you a good customer for me because if you're whether you're trying to manage it on your own server, trying to manage your own server in the cloud, cloud's really thrown around a lot, and there's a lot of misinterpretations of it. And I'm not talking about Goldmine Cloud. I'm not even sure who's hosting that right now, and I am no longer supporting clients on Goldmine Cloud clients. That was an offering within Goldmine. But if you want to manage something yourself, and sometimes this goes to compliance issues, Goldmine's a good thing to look at. And now this isn't necessarily a reason for looking at Goldmine, or saying with Goldmine now or later, but in terms of figuring out your transition, look at your cost of ownership. A lot of people think Goldmine is expensive per seat, and always kind of has been a little pricey originally because it included SQL licensing. But you have to look at what you've spent on your Goldmine the past few years, ever since you've had it. Break it down to per user per month. And then when you're looking at other solutions that are billed monthly, you have to remember you're using named users usually and look at the annual cost. So you can there too. So and then lastly, you have to remember the cost of migrating in there. And I'm not saying with me, I'm saying with anybody. Sometimes it's with the partner you choose, right? Um, so here's the other thing. What do I move to? That's the other thing people ask. And like I said, let me answer that real directly. I can't tell you. It depends on how you use the product. And I can't tell you how many times people say, I only use 20% of the product. And I say, that's great. It's the 20% that matters. That it's your business. If you're using it right, that's what matters. But in terms of moving, it's how you use the product and what you want to pay, what your budget is. I've even had people say, well, you know what products are out there, you know how I use it. Can you just look at them and tell me what to do? And no, I can't. There's over 300 out there. They all have core contact management capabilities. Some are free, some are really cheap. You don't need to pay me or any vendor to find them. You know, uh, Milton looking for his red stapler, right? You're not going to find something quite like the red stapler you have now, but you got to go out there and find it, right? So here's really the deal. My general recommendation is if gold mine's a critical part of your day to day, get current and then make a plan to migrate because it's in your future. It's just a question of how you want it to go and when you want it to maximize the return on what you have right now. In other words, it's money and time. And you have to give, in terms of time, you have to give it a lifespan, your CRM a lifespan based on what you know and what other moving pieces to be. You have to think of all your business and IT initiatives that may or may not interfere. You have to be a co-creator with your CRM future, not just wait for the product to end its life. So I can't tell you how many calls I get after a new server is installed. Like, is the current version going to work? And in addition to these, what do I do? So here's kind of what I decided. Like I just said, if it's a critical part of your day to day, get current, get it together, put your plan together. And I wouldn't be doing my job as a marketer if I didn't give you an initial offering and tell you why to work with me. So I'll do that. Here's my initial offering. Doesn't have to be with me. Go to your partner. Go to any partner if it's critical. Upgrades are $500 each, $153 annual maintenance. We're not getting different prices. We do all get different margins. The bigger partners have bigger margins. The rest of us don't. It basically runs like that. And none of us are supposed to be discounting maintenance. If they want to offer you a discount based on your volume and longevity with them, great. I'm probably not going to discount software unless I'm requesting it from the manufacturer and passing it along to you. But what I am doing, or if you have 10 or more seats, I'll obviously ask for it. But rather than that, I'm going to charge you that price and upgrade your server and work with you on the workstation or your IT person on the workstation and on docked installs. So I'm going to get you current at list. It's the best I can do. In terms of an initial offering on the service side, that was on the product side. I'm offering what I call a GoldMine treatment. You can call it an assessment, tune up, mini audit, maybe a first step of a migration. I'm flat rating it based on number of users. And this is how it works. We spend some time together uh, hearing all your woes, all your concerns with your product, anything going on now, maybe things you want to do, migration concerns. Just you dump it all on me. I use Go to Assist. You get me set up. I log in. I run my queries, tell you what I think, find things you probably don't know about, taking up space and affecting performance, look at your innies. We meet again, go over it, and I help you with any of that and the woes and integration needs you want for 4 to 8 hours, depending on your size. Basically, giving you a day of services with all that over a few days, maybe a couple days over a couple weeks, appropriate to your size and with appropriate pricing. No secrets here. If you're like 5 users or under 5 users, it's $295. If you're 6 to 9 users, $495. 10 plus users, $995. Here's the catch. If you have a 10 gig database, you got a lot of stuff, and I'm talking $19.95 because you're probably a lot of users. I do have small users with big databases. If you fit in that situation, you'll be somewhere in the range of your price, and that will probably split the difference. So here's how it works. Oh, well, as I told you, you hit me up on my website. There's some contact forms out there. Um, uh, it's a standalone service offering, uh, but you can fill out those contact forms sooner the better. I really like to put this out there for September. I may or may not extend it in October. And like I said, I'm trying to wrap my own GoldMine stuff up by Thanksgiving. So, um, uh, one more thing that I said I talk is what about, and that's why work with me. Well, my transition from GoldMine started in 2020 is ending now. That's 4 years total. What's yours going to be? I'm giving you the opportunity to define that. And I'm not going to let you do something dumb. I always say how it is. I'm doing this first in one take, and I'm trying to keep it under 30 minutes here. And I'm talking about ways to maximize what you have with minimal investment and solutions you may not see. My focus is data and integration. I don't want to spend time with you using the application. If you need a help desk, there are premier partners, I believe they're called, on goldmine.com that can help you with all this. People, or get current and use Avanti and self-manage your system. That's what I'll help you with. People ask, what should I use? I had the same question. I couldn't find anything that worked for me. So I do data stuff, integration stuff. I built my own front end. I put it on my data and integrating it with other things I use. Whether not I make that commercially available at some point, I intend to under the Twist brand listed on my website, but not till 2024. But we may have opportunities to have conversations there. But don't work with me if you want a long-term vendor dependency. In fact, if you're a GoldMine user and I help you integrate something kind of custom, longer term, I'm eventually, and you have a GoldMine partner you like, I may do that with them so they can help support you. So don't work with me if you want long-term vendor dependency, especially if you want a help desk, like I said, premier partner. If you want to have a project with me or a long-term relationship made up of many projects that are not GoldMine focus, yeah, I'm your guy. But I want you to hold the keys to the kingdom, not me. So, like I said, visit plateaumarketing.com and you can use my Microsoft booking forms there. Pretty much pick one. You can find more information on this GoldMine offering and my other services there. And again, this audit is not to sell you future services. If there's something you need that's aligned, absolutely, let's talk about it, and I'm going to help you out at the price that's best for both of us. But again, to contact me, visit the website, jslagle at plateaumarketing.com. First initial, last name is my email. Josie Slagle is my personal handle. Plateau Marketing, but marketing is just MKTG, is my handle on Facebook and LinkedIn. Josie Slagle, some other places you can find me. Watch for more videos. Until then, give your choices a purpose bigger than yourself, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one.